grew up in Florida.
Yes.
This is my this is where they're based.
Okay.
This is where they are now.
This
And then
super local.
oh, this guy, yeah.
He's a member of the community center. Is that the guy that did the 14 too? No,
That's Jeremy Collins.
that was Jeremy Collins.
He's
It's
local too, right?
Matthew Dehamer.
Really?
A member of the community center.
Really?
Yeah, he wrote it on his little side.
Well, I think that's, yeah, I was trying to look, but it's hard to figure it out.
Here, I have my jacket for you.
Right. Hi, Julie. How's it going? Good to see you. You too.
What do you think of the show tonight?
Oh, that was, that's a little nuts. I mean, I liked it. I don't normally like being in the same place with that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was, I was a bit upset. I gotta unbox everything. And
Hey gang, I'm gonna get started here in about 1 minute. So everybody knows, okay?
No. So were you touching it before? No?
Yeah, I was handling it. I was unboxing it.
Oh, you were helping set it up.
Helping
Oh,
with it,
cool.
so yeah.
Yeah.
So I gotta really get inside of everything.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to go back quite a few times to this place.
Yeah.
On the list with the 3 sections, were some of those people not in the group before?
We're gonna talk about that.
Okay.
Once we start.
Okay, well, I was just curious, because some of, I don't know, maybe a couple of them I wasn't sure about.
Alright, we've got everybody here. I'm gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. Call to order. Roll call, you who else here?
Yeah, I think I got everyone, right?
Yeah, everyone is here, Martin's online.
Perfect. Fantastic.
Alright, first action item, did everyone get an opportunity to read the meeting minutes for January 16th, 2025?
I made one small edit to those this morning, just to include, that you're using the cafe platform for judging, and that, council members are participating in the judging process to provide input as part of the discussion, but they will not vote on the plan. So just to have that moment of clarity that we can talk about. Now it is.
Alright, given with the addendum, those changes, were there any other comments or anything that anyone had? Nope. Hearing none, would someone like to make a motion to approve the minutes? Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Boom. So now let's get into the meat potatoes of this fun endeavor. So, again, time is important to all of us, right? So let's try to stay focused and come to an amicable conclusion of 3 individuals. This is going to be hard. I mean, I may be surprised, but I think it's going to be hard. But I think it's going to be fun. So, with that being said, Lauren, let's get rolling.
Okay. So first I just want to, I know I sent this out to you guys as the rubric that we'll use for the finalists, but I just want to put those out there, in the room tonight, so we all have the criteria that we agreed upon previously top of mind when we're thinking about which artists would work best for this project. So those were artistic excellence and innovation of portfolio, demonstrated experience and professional qualifications, connections with placemaking outcomes and community vision, expression of community values, feasibility of the project and what their representative has. So that happens for keep in mind.
Well, I have a question. So, I have forgotten what the budget is.
$50,000.
$50,000. Thank you.
What's the amount of stipend for having them make one trip here?
The stipend for the semifinalists is $1,000, and we didn't require that they do make the trip,
But that's for everybody, whether you're in St. Louis or Guam.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't have any internet.
Yeah.
For clarification, there's 3 semifinalists after tonight.
That was fun.
That's the.
But I thought I had 5 I think 50,000, so I.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Are you guys also okay with me having very high level minutes for tonight as well, so I can not try to do more?
Perfect. Yeah.
Great. Okay, so I noticed that like some of the scores adjusted a little bit since I sent them out on Monday, so it's still relatively similar, same top 15 of all the 60 artists that made it through to this guide. Highest was 5.455. So yeah, let's see highest we got.
She wins.
When you sent those out, you had ranked in the order of their score?
That was the order of the score, yeah. So there was a little bit of movement since Monday. People didn't adjust scores, nothing drastic though. And since it's really hard, I thought it was really hard to remember who they were and compare them to each other online. So I printed them off and put them in order over there. And I thought we might start by.
From your original email on Monday, and then a lot of like micro changes people made, were there significant differences in the number of outcomes for the top 15 based on that, or did that top 15 pretty much remain the same, they just tweaked their numbers?
It's still the same top 15.
Okay.
Just a couple people moved up and some moved down.
Okay.
Are the top 5 still the same?
Any questions?
Good question.
We don't even have the top 3. I noticed 3 and 4 are tied.
So,
There's more.
Sarah Lynch, Los Collective, Matthew, Gamers, Alex Maxial.
Alex may have dropped down.
Okay, and then Rabbit?
Yeah. Okay, Alex dropped down.
And Jeremy
moved up.
Okay.
Christina, like all of these past. Yeah. Alex dropped down a lot.
And Allison was up too.
Yeah. Just a touch.
But this is the order, right, that you put up here?
Yeah. So the current scores is the order that I put up over there. So, yeah. So I thought we could maybe start by looking at all of them together, and possibly just eliminating ones that we don't even want to talk about as a potential semifinalist before talking about.
Feel free to, you definitely do that if you choose.
Like a murder mystery with the big boy.
Isn't it? Did you bring your red shoe?
Oh my God. Oh, it's where you can make
Everybody close your eyes.
Oh, I do too.
No, no.
Yeah, you know it's awesome.
Yeah, but yeah, well, I was thinking the original, but then we didn't, the first three. But that's not what she has on the screen. Oh, well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I like a lot of the people that are.
Originally I had one, I think she was more like a little bit at the beginning, so it was like, maybe, when we were higher schooling. And then after senior, we were
Christine.
like,
Hi.
And so this guy's
Yeah, he was, he lives in Merriam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I just think she had for
I just worry that, the community center's gonna,
What?
gonna just go over the top and be like,
What?
covered with, we're not careful.
Well, anything they put on that building will be an improvement.
Or the floor.
Not gonna lie, this is my number one.
Yeah.
Even the very first round.
Really?
It was my, like my top choice for
Was
the
she
first.
in the 190 group?
Absolutely, and
That's
in the
what
one
I
ninety
thought.
group, I wrote her name down as like my favorite.
I love that.
Yeah,
I think
That's interesting.
and I'm so glad that you all like kind of.
Yeah. Well, she calls out the 2.5.
I know. I got 190 because
Well, one of mine was the third day that I was doing these.
But were you were starting to glaze over?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, me too. I felt
I
bad
just-
for the people like in the middle to
I
lower
was
half of the
so
alphabet.
tired.
But she wanted graphics. But I think what happened, I noticed her because I was like, oh, these are alphabetical order, and I moved like a few pages down so I would keep them alphabetically, even though
I love these two.
Yeah, I do.
I love these two. And I think it's interesting that this is eclectic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
the two
mean, I
people,
thought-
yeah.
My goodness.
When I was in New York, well, 2
On
weeks
the
ago, I
reality with it.
went to go see
Yeah,
that,
that's
but
what I
that's
read.
on the
And I
F
love that
line
too.
in Brooklyn, and the F line was Sunday.
Oh, and I forgot about
They
that.
were working on cutting this on the line, I couldn't get there. Yeah.
Those two are some of my favorites.
I think that's my favorite. I like the
I like this woman, I don't know if she can do the exterior stuff, this stuff.
We don't do something this
You
kind
have
of
to
thing,
kind
we
of
have to
think
do something
through.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
You know what I mean?
yeah, I think at one time I talked about splitting.
Yeah.
How's that
People
going?
finding them.
They are.
Aw.
Yeah, I think it was a little confusing at first, but like once people caught on.
Yeah, I like her, what I think about her, she's not afraid of negative space, all of her things.
She's not afraid of negative space.
Yeah, but she also said that this would be her biggest project.
So?
Well,
So
I
let's
don't know
go.
what to experiment with that.
Well, I think that's a positive.
positive.
You kind of published
Yeah.
that too, right?
Yeah.
That's why she's done some other stuff.
That doesn't bother me, Jerry.
I love her flowers too.
I think-
Yeah.
She has a nice touch to her
Mhm.
painting,
Mhm, she does.
I think.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys a question. Is in this collection of how many? 15?
Uh-huh.
Of the top, what is that, 7 right there? Is there anything that's in the bottom 8 that someone is passionate about moving up? And I mean like really passionate.
What bottom? Bottom eight?
That bottom
This
8
is
right
bottom
there.
eight, bottom 8 over there, yeah.
Steve,
I'm not super passionate. I mean, maybe here, but I mean,
how about
when you
the
bottom
bottom
eight,
eight moving out?
Well, that's why I'm bringing it up. I said up.
Yeah.
So
No,
that
no,
we
I
know
meant-
that, so that we can eliminate those from the rest of today's conversation. The more we can eliminate from the conversation, I think the more we can refine our conversation to the ones that we are wanting to
What
talk
I
about
like
seriously.
What I like about Dirk, I like his idea that he would use like wood and glass, and I thought, oh, would be, I like it.
oh yeah.
Sorry.
Mine is, not really loading,
Yeah, so we're talking about the bottom 8. These, just removing them from the conversation, which are generally in her original email. So, these are the bottom 8. here's the upper 7, here's, and these are in order from their point
Okay.
scoring.
My only one that I would like to be big for, I can't think right now, that is AJ. That's the only one.
AJ Davis?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Okay. So let's do this,
Move him over.
so that he's a part of this conversation as well, or she, I don't know what it is. Who?
Thanks. And Eric, we're not doing this.
Okay.
What about the opposite question?
Yeah, are there any of these
That
that
you're
we
like,
can
now
send
you
it
see them there, that you're like, oh, no.
Jeremy Collins.
I think Matthew.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Jeremy.
And Beaver.
I like Terry Collins. It just doesn't like go along with the rest, you know what I mean, like in terms of like. No, you're fine.
No, yeah, I kind of tend to agree that moving Jeremy out, I like the work, but I don't see it being appropriate for this, in my opinion,
Yeah.
appropriate for this particular project in space, especially based on his shape.
And the other thing that I noticed about him, he didn't show any recent work.
No, I noticed that too.
His website's kinda weird too.
Yeah, yeah.
He didn't have a lot of work on it. His liner's really nice, but I don't think it was personally.
The Matthew, are you gonna move him out
No,
too?
Someone only brought up, I think we only brought up this
I
one.
think
I brought up
Matthew. Maybe
Somebody brought up Matthew. What did you, I couldn't hear what you said.
I don't know how his work would necessarily like, kind of be
All right, well,
with the project.
so let's.
I know he's number 3.
Here's my opinion, is now that we have these 7, let's just take those out of the equation, and let's go back and bring them up on the screen, and we'll have those very specific conversations about these 7. Is everybody cool with that, or?
Yeah, what I would do, if I were alone, would I put her in place of Matthew. I mean, I think her work's really strong and interesting, and I think Matthew, to me, it almost looks like the Louvre, the pyramid, and I don't think we can do that.
So, I think the majority of, I'd like to go back to our comments, and maybe we do that.
Okay.
I'm worried.
Because I want to know why people want them and why they don't. Because then we might find some common ground there.
I'm worried if we move Matthew out, and not that he's my favorite or anything, we're narrowing ourselves to murals with, I don't love that. And I know we all talked about like preferring 2.5 to 3D something. And not be the only one, but I don't know. Because there's one else the only
Well,
anyone else in the
you know,
group brought it up.
huh?
I feel like the group brought it up last time, the 2.5.
No, there was somebody who had 2.5 in their artist
Beth Robbins, right?
No,
Huh?
it was a number of collective and background.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, if you wanted to have somebody who was not a mural painter, then I would move Dirk up.
I
And
agree
take
with
Matthew
that.
out. Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I can agree with
So, my biggest concern there is, do we want to maintenance outdoors unmonitored of glass? That's, because I love his work.
Yeah.
But if it's outdoors in places that are not managed and monitored, we're gonna end up with broken glass, not beautiful glass. That's my
I would agree. I don't think Dirk's work is right for this project. I love that he's here in Merriam, and I think we could find something for him in another project.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I guess I was thinking about it more in the interior stairwell, not considering the.
It's still an outdoor stairwell.
Right.
I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a pretty narrow stairwell, I just get worried, but from a public works maintenance, or city,
Yeah, and that stairwell is open to the public,
Yeah,
at
it
2
is.
o'clock in the morning.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
so-
I don't think they can close it.
They
the
close
door-
it.
the door's locked.
Okay.
But the doors, like the doors
Locked.
don't, right, when the,
At a certain time.
when the library closes, or when the meeting goes out, I'm sorry.
So, all right, So that being said,
In the budget.
we're,
I can take it down.
we're still good with no one else needing to move anything from over here, over there, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was hoping it would help.
You sound like
I'm making them. I don't think I'm He's not. I'm the one I've known my whole life, and he's well, gonna be.
Does everyone have their little before I go back? I didn't want to.
Question number one.
Who's my number one? Let's all have a together.
Yeah, you can.
I love the first two, and I love that whole thing.
Hang on, let's wait till everybody's over here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Thanks for your hand. I really love all the people that we know.
Yeah.
I would be happy with them.
Okay. I guess we'll start from the top with Karen Lynch. Who's not the highest score so far, so let's look at it.
All right, so I'm curious, from everybody's perspective, why this one ranked as high as it did. My guess is, and I want to hear your responses to this, is because of the use of light within her, especially the one that was skylight-based fabric, letting the light come through. There's not a lot of, she does seem to work, I think it's a shoe.
It is a shoe.
The scale of the work seems realistic, the price of her work seems realistic. I don't remember off the top of my head her artist statement. Excuse me.
Well, one thing she put in her artist statement was that she wanted to do a work of radical joy.
And that connects with you, yeah.
Yeah.
And that statement connects with you, that's awesome.
Yeah, she also said she is interested in doing transitional spaces, particularly staircases. And just, she said something else about like helping, the wayfinding and guiding people through. Really fun.
Yeah, I'm not particularly a huge fan of mural work. I was more interested in the screen printed, like, green kind of thing, and then also the textile work. Like, I think that would go great with the windows in the stairwell. But she could also do, mural.
Well,
whatever. And I think a lot of people, not looking at it from my opinion, like a lot of other people would like her murals, I think. Because they're very clear, but,
Yeah.
if we could go back to her stairwell picture, I think, nobody out of the 190 had that much just great action in their work. Look at it, just, you know exactly what's going to happen. You're going to down the stairs. All kinds of things to look at. It's not, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys, go ahead.
Just a lot of experience. And, she's based out of New York and Nashville, and just an MFA from Columbia. And I just think her work's happy. I'd like something happy.
So let me ask this question of everyone. It's pretty easy to come up with reasons we like it. what are possible negatives to this particular artist? What are possible problems? Or does anyone have?
I think it's very colorful, but I feel like it's also very generic. Flowers and, it's kind of what you might expect from a public art installation, something that isn't gonna offend anyone, unless you really don't like flowers.
It's arguably a good thing, but maybe a bad thing.
Yeah, and so if this artist moves forward then, based on, because that's a similar concern to me, is, I think it's very important that we articulate to them in the original process then, when they bring their demonstration, that we want to see some amount of personalization based on our master plan, not just generic shapes, which is cool, but we'd like to see a little more personalization. I think that statement fits pretty well with a number of the muralists that we've all liked. I think it's important to include that clarification to them if they're the ones that go forward, because, I agree with all the positive things we said about this one. It was obviously in my list. But I think, it's important that we try to get a little more personalization out of it.
What do you mean by personalization?
I don't know. I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I would like them to tell me.
Neutral right now. Like there's no.
Like I can sit anywhere.
What's unique to the space or to the place it's being painted? Like, I wouldn't know where this is looking at it. There's no I don't indicators of that.
Like when someone draws flowers, they draw flowers like that,
And Jerry, I agree with your point though, that it gives a sense of that motion. You feel like you're shooting down a slide, right? So in that regard, yes, it loses a little bit of genericism, but in terms of thematically and color, it's pretty generalized.
I'm a big fan of blue, so
Yeah.
Jerry, what did you say? I couldn't hear you.
I said I'm a big fan of blue, so that's
I think it's the Merriam color.
Just
My
Merriam.
problem with her would be that she doesn't include her textile work in her proposal to us. That is just a mural, because I also love both. And in terms of the mural, she references in her artist statement that she will reference domestic craft forms like quilting and things like that. And I feel like you definitely really get that from her murals. You get that. You can see that kind of patterning of quilting and things like that.
Yeah,
Which is really cool.
And I think that does lend itself to personalization, especially with the flowers and Merriam having flower and Kansas having flower. And you just totally personalize
Flowers for everyone.
Now, I'm going to ask another question, and basically I'm going to ask these questions always, but how do we think this work would interact with the other artwork that's at that particular campus? Because we're talking about a fairly dense visual amount of work in this community center area, and we want to make sure we think about that, right? So, what are people's thoughts on how this would integrate with the other artwork there, or contrast with it, or what are your guys' thoughts in regards to that?
I think it'd work.
Okay.
It's subjective.
Oh,
I think it'd work. Blessing Hancock's piece, that's the biggest thing, right?
You've got the sunflower facing.
Pardon?
the.
Sunflower in the library.
Oh, the library.
The
Those
library.
are kind of
Yeah.
subtle.
I'm just pointing out all
Yeah.
the other pieces.
Yeah.
I think those are, depending on where the foliage is, it's kind of.
Yeah. Those don't pop out the way Blessing Hancock.
No, they're not in the same realm at all.
Yeah. But then there's the thing about the door too. It's Blessing.
I don't think there was consideration by the library to have their art work with art that's already there. But luckily, I feel like the library art is subtle and kind of disappears.
Yeah.
So even though I do think that it should be a consideration, it's already destroyed. Does that make sense? Our
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, no, I think the intent of my question is more, are we choosing something that will horribly contrast with? I think, yes, some eclectic nature to this is a good thing. I don't think there has to be an overall theme, but I think, you know, we have to be careful about bringing in something that will be like, what on earth were people thinking? You know, I mean, I think, you know, we have a responsibility, right, for that.
You mean where it would look cluttered?
Yeah, precisely. Great choice of words. Great
You know,
choice of words.
okay.
Yeah.
I do notice, I haven't seen anybody standing next to the flowers on the library and looking at them. I see a lot of people looking at, Blessing Hancock's piece, especially with the lights,
Sure.
the lights that go on at night.
There's something about the flowers that makes you feel like you can't walk on the grass.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I don't want to get close.
I've taken pictures of those and I'm like, you're not supposed to be here.
Okay, so do we want to now have this conversation with the next one in line?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Or happy, please.
My 7-year-old loves it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
went through the 15 finalists with her last night.
This is a great, that's an interesting point, because that's why I wanted to know from the community center, what is the age, what is the density of different ages that come
Did we
into
get
the
that?
community?
Did we get that?
Huh?
Did we talk about that last time? We talked about that.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
right, I remember.
Yeah, we touched on it.
Yeah, it's a
But
very broad range.
the thing about it in regards to this, I look at, you know, I mean, there's some trends here. She did give us all, you got a bunch of trends, but.
Did Claire arrange it?
No, she didn't, but I went through an order from from our rating, you know, from the top to the bottom, and just showed them like their website, you know, and she was really intrigued by some of them, and some not so much, but she really loved them. It was just kind of funny, because I go through it with her, and like, not really knowing anything about it, so.
Yeah, I don't know, for me, that's a really positive feedback, because, you know, art doesn't always have to be deep, right? Because we connect with things, you know, on an intense level, even when they're not deep, like, you know what I mean by that, philosophically deep.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I did think this collective group, was fun.
Yeah.
And I like that. I mean, why not have a little fun with it?
I feel like it, like, you enter into almost like a different world. Like,
Yeah.
you walk into a portal and you're like in a different world, and I think, you know, it doesn't matter what age group you are or who you are, like, you can't help but be kind of engulfed in it, and it's still, yeah,
Well, and these two people have been together for 17 years,
wow.
and they're in New Orleans, and, you know, it looks like they're working well together.
Yeah. And they mentioned, 2.5D element that they were wanting to do. They use it in interior stairwell. I like that. Yeah. I do, you know, the interior stairwell sort of contained. I feel like if they did something like this on the exterior one, it could be really interesting. It could also, start taking over the space with, like, what they're undergoing.
Yeah, there's risk there.
In their artist statement, they said that give up express joy and foster a sense of belonging. And also really good.
You had a statement you would like to make?
Well, what I really liked about this one is wasn't applied to the environment, it changes the environment, which I think is pretty amazing. It's kind of like a barrage of art. But I don't feel like it's overwhelming. I see it more in the interior space, like you said. I also worry though, because the interior space is so small, and it does basically like like watching a herd of zebras running. I feel like it kind of breaks down in lines, like important lines, like the lines of stairs and stuff, and so I have a small concern about that, but I really like artists.
I was looking at that and thinking about what you said, Sean, and I was thinking that their highly patterned work, repetitive work, would be a nice contrast to everything else that's going on.
Could we look at some of the pictures where they go upstairs?
But just one other quick comment. I think that if they do something like those little shelves or whatever, those little ceramic things that can apply to the wall, and they better be out of reach.
Yeah.
I know my statement I wrote in this, I love this workout, where I think they would need to find a way to personalize it to Merriam beyond just geometric design, which I think falls into a lot of the same conversation.
I wondered about that too.
Yeah, in their artist statement, they talked about their approach being rooted in data and research and looking at the local places.
They did, hence why I kept them as high as I did,
Same, yeah.
So I think on their website, this one, it's like some sort of abstract interpretation of a river and whatever's going on locally there. And then the other one, this one also has specific connections with people from or whatever.
And though I hate diverting a little bit, I'm gonna do it anyway. In terms of this particular artist, I had them in the back of my head also in terms of our bridge. Because, down there, that's a good thing to maybe think about. If we don't choose them for this or something along those lines. These are opportunities also for us in the future without having to go down a rabbit hole of doing this process intensely again. We can choose some and say, hey, we'd like to see you, we didn't choose you for this, but maybe you would like to design something for this, those kinds of things. I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole though, because we need it. Yeah.
Just one more thing. I also noticed that they're in the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what you're going to get for 35 or 50. Yeah.
It's a much more.
These were monumental spaces. But, it's a valid, exactly. They may get here and,
That river one was 17.5. The river one that she just showed at that corner of the parking garage, it was $17,500.
But that looks to me like it might be a temporary structure.
No, it was exterior existing on concrete.
Oh, okay.
I know, I understand that, so we're just kind of digging into it, not to.
But they know the budget when they apply.
When
They know what it is. And they've been running a business for, you can tell it's got a business there. If you look at their website.
Yeah. It was really good.
okay. Any other positive and or concern-based comments on the Milagros group collective?
I thought it was nice. I mean, I think it's playful and I think it was one that the work that's on the,
Okay. And the next contestant on the Price is Right.
So this guy has a cut flower farm, and the thing that was interesting to me was like, could something happen with that native grass hillside where people drive in, like just right at the top of the exterior staircase? That's why sort of got a high vote from me. I think his stuff is kind of all over the place. In terms of like, I have no idea what he might propose to us, but that leaves a lot of options, and he's certainly done public works before, so I'm sure he could successfully complete it, but it leaves a lot to the imagination of like, what is he come up with.
So you see him as a gamble?
Yeah.
Kind of, I mean, in a way.
An interesting game.
Yeah,
Intriguing, I'm
yeah, your choice of words for me is, I like, because, I like the tile work. I like the tree with the fire pit scenario. I even like this work.
I
But
like
again,
that.
you know, I know a lot of these aren't
I
really,
like that.
it's hard for us to know, converting that to what the space areas that we're giving them to work with. He is local, that was another positive for me.
He's local,
Very local.
Where is he?
Yeah.
Is he in Tennessee?
He's a member of the community center, like,
Yeah.
how local he is.
I think he's in Shawnee, maybe.
Really?
I'm not quite
I
sure.
didn't pick that up. I thought he was from Wisconsin.
Well, he might be from their, like, childhood from there, but he's been a member of the community center for like over a year.
He was around.
Because he's from here. He was the artist
Along
that
with the
did
center.
for, JCCRD.
Does it say, since you have that, does it say anything in his artist statement about what he's thinking for the?
I don't think so, I was trying to refresh my memory.
You can get into specifics.
What he's excited about.
He was the art and nature residency for which is what that water one was. It was about the Mill Creek Stream Lake watershed. Researching how water was gets clean drinking water.
He sells it to.
And he built it for farmers market, yeah.
What does he sell to farmers?
Flowers from his little farm.
I
He's
think-
very like values-based, I think, with bringing awareness, like environmental, sort of like local
Yeah.
environmental things,
Yeah.
which I like. I think that's probably what I would say.
I think it's also the clear.
Yeah, true.
I'm sorry, that's your like favorite, like that's what you really like want to work on next, so. Not to convert, I'm sorry,
No,
but that's
I
kind of like.
I think most of us would probably agree with that statement. I mean, I
Yeah.
like his work. I think he's worked with risk, whether it's this project or another project. I think there's opportunity there. I did like, even though he didn't specifically call out his intentions with the community center, the fact that he's there on a regular basis. It's hard not to develop ideas.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, so it's, yeah. Did you have
Oh,
something?
I had a note, when I scored him, it would be interesting to partner him with the mural list. Last time when we chatted
Yeah.
here, we talked about maybe splitting
Yep.
the money and having a muralist and somebody who was doing something a little bit more.
Yep, that would be a good split, depending on.
I don't know if that's a rabbit hole that we wanna entertain.
I know, right? And when I thought about it further down the road, I was like, well, maybe that's a little more than we were ready to handle.
Yeah, so
I still like the idea, but, you know, you're right, realistically, is it?
But it's our first project, it'd be nice to move fast.
Yes,
Is it-
I'm here for that.
Okay, any other Margaret, did you have comments about him?
I mean, what?
Didn't like the way you said that.
He was one of the first, I think 3D artists that combines light, so I really liked him. I kind of agree now though that it's a little harder to picture what could be done with spaces to be chosen right now for the future. So I could see something. I don't know. I think that was my overall
communities that are glowing everywhere.
Yeah, I think it was really clashing to other.
I think like that would be so cool to do. I don't know.
Yeah, and now that I talked to you, you're right. I totally think she's a better fit for the clearing.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Although the clearing is very isolated,
Yeah.
and, I mean, you have to wonder like what happens.
You would have to be conscious of that, yeah.
That piece looks a little fragile to me.
That-
Well, I'm not saying that.
No, I'm just saying, that piece looks a little fragile, but I love that piece.
And his work happened out like, where was it, Shawnee Mission Park or something? Yeah.
If
I
I were
like
like
out where.
if I were gonna invest in his work and for something like that, I would want it to cost you.
Right?
I mean, that's,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna invest that much money.
Right, from a maintenance and protection. Or he's designing something that is more manageable in terms of protecting itself.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like robotic and
Sounds like we agree to adopt rules of free funds.
I think that's when we come to the conclusion, but keep him on the back burner for future projects.
Okay.
I think that's accurate.
Again, that's my number one pick. That's just a really cool cat.
Do you know her?
No, I don't.
No, I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay, so, I'd like you to expand on your passion for that. Why do you really want this one?
I love that it's not a mural, that it's like 2.5 dimensional, but it is mural-like in that it could fit on a wall. She has so much experience. She mentioned she has been art position in an art committee. She's gotten ordinances from cities. She's done a lot of public work. She understands the whole process and understands maintenance and whatnot. So I'm assuming her works are durable. They're outside. I think it's just so interesting. The fact that it's mosaic. Yeah. And when I was going through the 190, she was like my top pick from the 190.
The reason I asked you to expand is because she was one of my top picks. Because of the 2.5 dimensionality, obviously, so if you don't know, but I am enamored of anything that's ceramic-based style making. So, I liked her style beyond just the fact that it's, there's a certain textural quality to using such aggressive tile usage. I like the color choices, I like her palette, use of space, even migrating some of those over around the corner. I think that's thoughtful in terms of all elements of the space provided to someone. I think it falls outside of, I'm not against murals, right? But I lean towards wanting something that brings a little bit of, texture and shadow to, lighten the stairwell, or even either one of the stairwells, interior or exterior. I mean, I think that offers opportunity. So I too am passionate about this one, being in the top 3. But what are anyone else's thoughts from a positive, and then we'll talk about any challenges we see with this one.
Prices, I can't remember.
I think I love,
I know.
I feel like her pricing is really high.
I think it's
Like,
like
what was it?
I remember them being within the range.
Okay, I was wrong.
Yeah. Most of the ones where I saw pricing in my last judging. If there was pricing that I liked it, and then I started looking at the pricing and it was ridiculous, I just put them into a one category.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, that's not even worth a
Yeah.
conversation.
Seems totally reasonable. I think out of like kind of the top 5 or top 7, this goes in my mind really well with the other works we have there. Like the flow between one to the next would be really great. Yeah.
Issues that we foresee with this particular one, any challenges that we foresee?
No, I think we should go with it.
Well, we're going back to things stuck on the wall again.
Yeah.
But she did one for an elementary school, so I.
I would say that there's a big difference between, when you say, when you say stuck to a wall, there's a big difference between, using, mastic or thin sets to attach things to a substrate like a concrete wall, and when that's a contiguous surface, it is much more difficult to do damage to them when they are, as opposed to individual items stuck with a lot of opportunity for, grabbing, pulling, etc. So your point's valid, but I think it's less of a concern to me than other three-dimensional objects being attached to the walls.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Any other?
I think she's really good. Move her ahead.
All right.
Is she from Florida?
Yeah.
So she's accessible to her.
One thing is murals or like this, I would think only inside, just because in Florida you're not gonna have 3, sidewalk, spots, and.
That stairwell is not heated though, is it?
No. Well,
I don't think it is.
like,
It has a little mini, like, heater down low, yeah.
But I think inside would probably be more, like, for title table,
Yeah, that could be a part of the conversation. Yeah, that's a great point, because if she's in Florida, if she's using low fire glazes on a terracotta for these tiles, it's not an issue. She uses that here, yeah, in 3 years it's gonna blow apart. So that's absolutely an excellent point to bring to that.
Where has she done projects though? She's done projects all over.
Yeah.
So.
You would like to think that she's given that consideration.
Her website was pretty robust, and she's been at it for decades, it seems.
I think the strength of her work is the size too. So I think we limit her to the stairwell. I don't know if we'd be getting on the.
Yeah, I like that comment, because I think it really is kind of the expansive, how she's able to really just kind of take over. Even when she's not, like this one, it's the whole wall, but there's other ones where it's like pieces. And, she really knows how to use the space, like that one, I mean, it's not the whole wall, but it is,
But it feels like it is.
I love
the focal point.
I love that one. It's really
And this one,
quirky.
I really love that one.
I like the
It's not the whole
quirkiness.
thing, but it's, the lines and everything, it just,
I think it's interesting that.
Oh, really funny.
I think it's interesting that the majority of the people really like her, but she was only number 4. From listening to people talk.
Yeah, I think one of the things though is I just got concerned about kind of, what if we would get our money's worth, right? Like, I guess I just kind of got a heart. I kind of got a little shy with it because I was just like, is she going to be able to really Shazam the whole? Is she really going to go for it?
I don't know. Only 65,000.
Yeah, and then you have the portal with the collective group, right, where you're
But we have the next step, which is they submit an actual,
Right.
and then we can see if they scale down and they're not really taking advantage of the space.
Like the busy factory one was 90,000, but there's a lot of texture and a lot of bigger elements in that one, so these are gonna be
But the 62-foot long one's only 45,000.
Right.
Now that is 2011 prices.
Or the.
That's another thing about her, there's very little recent work shown.
Yeah.
I think only one thing, I believe.
Everything else is that, yeah.
Everything else is very chaotic, it's okay.
Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go back.
I like, again, I come back to, I'm wanting something that, I like this a lot. Now, I mean, I like the idea of it a lot, let me restate that. I don't necessarily like these particular colors and that kind of thing, but I like the idea of what she's done with that. That's why I find positive about that one. Some of the artwork, some of the line work and shape work, I felt got a little chaotic, but,
I like that. I did
Yeah,
like
no,
that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, mine was
you tend
chaotic.
to, you like those kind of.
Oh, yeah.
I know,
You might as well.
yeah.
I like the fact that she's not afraid of negative space, that she doesn't have to just cover everything.
Yeah.
It's just sort of like the same way like you like rather.
Some of the stuff on her website was better than what she submitted, also, just in my opinion. But I was like,
You had something you wanted to?
I was just curious, I wasn't exactly sure if the steel applique were hers, because that's the only piece of hers that she shows.
Yeah,
I didn't know if she.
That's what I thought.
I think
Just everybody else's
that's
work
on
back
there,
there.
the leaf, oh no, never mind.
It's kind of,
Because they don't seem to be part of the same,
yeah, it says paint on concrete.
It's the same color though. I mean, it is sort of like,
yeah.
Kind of.
I just wasn't sure.
I didn't catch that little detail. I just assumed it was part of her program, but.
It would be weird to have two artists work right on top of each other like that, but I just wasn't sure that she did both.
Yeah.
I think from like, when I'm thinking of other people in the community seeing it, I don't know that it would like resonate with as many people as some of the other artists.
Yeah. Yeah, for this one, for me personally, it'd be one of the lower ones on my list. But I think your thing was not connecting well. Interesting. Anyone have further comments on this one, positive or negative?
Well, she says she really reflects her Chinese heritage, and that may deal with part of the order in a piece. It's a different order.
What do you mean? What do you mean in different order? Like methodology or?
Yeah, I
Is that-
think so. I mean, I
is
think
that
like that
concern-
piece.
Is that something that concerns you or you like?
No,
it?
no, I like it.
Okay.
I like it because it's kind of like a, it pops out at me. And, I mean, I might even have guessed that it was Chinese. If I had to guess.
Okay.
I also think she said something about it being like a really intuitive process
Mhm.
of her murals were, and so again, like I don't think we necessarily know what we're gonna get.
And that concerns me.
She
And I
also
like
said-
that idea of that process for a
She also
city.
said this would be a big project.
Yeah.
She's gonna be the largest I have. I don't think that's counting.
Let me say to the state, we've done something on an entire building
Yeah, that
side.
was really huge.
Huh.
Anyway. Yeah. So that concerns me. Any other comments on this one?
Well, I always look where people are based. She's based out of Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And, she grew up in Florida. And she's Chinese American.
I think the work is really beautiful and flowy, so, I mean, I think it would be an interesting, you know, another kind of world. Not
I like
necessarily
it.
as dynamic as, Tara or the collective, but maybe a little bit more calm.
Yeah, and I think she could probably flow from like the
Mhm.
two arrows pretty easily, more so than maybe some of the others.
It doesn't look rich, that's for sure.
Yeah. Calming.
Yeah.
Well, I like what she had to say about, her perspective of, she spends a lot of time in, as a parent, she spends a lot of time in recreational service spaces and believes those centers should be invested.
Allison Kunoff and AJ Davis, the next two.
Yeah, I like that part too.
I did, Christine, I didn't hear what you said.
In her statement, she says, as a parent, I spend a lot of my free time with my family in recreational service spaces, and I believe these centers should be invested, to support generations to come. And I really just appreciated that detail, in her statement.
Confirms the interior still does have temperature control.
Thank you.
That's unusually useful.
Well,
Tell me again who this is.
Allison Kuhn. Okay.
Oh.
She's something kind of more Kansas.
She's the one that lives in California, but she's also from Minneapolis too. She's been in Lawrence.
Yeah.
Or she's from Minnesota. Not from
that's all of them, right?
Yeah.
So, I think for me, I connected with the linear elements and breakdown. It made it feel like it was a three-dimensional wire attached to something. I liked the way that it deceived your eyes to what it really was. I enjoyed that a lot. I liked this like the crystalline nature, even of the those things. I don't know. For me personally, it connected well. I see opportunity for it in the spaces provided. I don't remember what my comments were. What about you guys?
I really adored this, portion in her artist, statement that I also envisioned a wish workshop to invite the community, inviting residents to write a personal and collective wishes on the walls before painting them. This process would imbue the space with the hope and possibility of creating a sense of ownership and belonging, which that intention and that thoughtfulness just like, I don't know, that idea of being able to have the community write stuff on the walls before painting over it and then know that like, we know it's underneath it.
Like a beam planning, it's like a beam planning, maybe, it's very,
I couldn't hear, what did you say?
a beam, like the final beam that they
Oh.
put into the building.
Yeah, but it's also like Blessing Hancock did that.
And she used it in her work.
Yeah, in a word,
This would
but in a way,
It wouldn't
it
necessarily.
relates to the same thing.
Yeah.
That she asked all the community and she sat in a booth. And the community, I put stuff in it. And then she put the words in the.
Did you have thoughts on this particular artist?
Not strong ones. I mean, I think the work's cool. I think it can work, but it's one of those things where, like, if we pick this artist, okay, great. If we don't, that's fine too. Like,
You're on the fence on that one, yeah.
I'm on the fence. Yeah, I do like the geometric style it takes on. I've seen stuff like that in the past, and it's intriguing, but I don't know. It's not. I'm not dying to have this on our wall, like kind of thing.
Okay.
I feel kind of the same way about there's something jarring about it. And I would kind of like something tranquil, but colorful, if we could do that.
Okay.
She talks about, in her statement, like, the
Nobody has researched Merriam as much as she has.
Yeah.
She read everything.
She read the Chemical Art Master Plan.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
back to it.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I really like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the good research, the project management neat.
She has plans.
Yeah.
That's what I remember about her.
But that was the best thing about her, actually, I thought.
Yeah. Okay, any other comments on this one? Then we go to AJ. I got pulled in, AJ Davis.
This is the augmented reality one.
Yeah, I adore that so much. But I also like the murals too, so. Or like their murals, I don't know.
Yeah, from a mural perspective, I really enjoy the murals. Yeah, I like the color. I like bold colors, so. I love that piece. Maybe not for us, but I love that piece.
I like it, well, that, like, ooh, never want to look at that.
No.
I think his scale is just way too much for our space.
I can do that.
Yeah, like in the stairwell.
Yeah.
It seems
Yeah.
like you need to really far back.
Yeah, I like to have that bird look at it.
Yeah, I wondered how the AR would work in a type space. I'm not super familiar with that sort of thing, but I just thought I just needed more space.
Who knows?
He does do the same, he does have smaller stuff on his website, but it's all still very saturated.
Some of the animals are scary.
Like, and they just did a child.
Well, they can scare me. Going into the parking lot and.
Oh, no. Well, good thing we're done.
You
Oh,
have David.
Oh, okay.
No, I just looked up the link.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
I literally can't see up there.
What do I need to type?
It should be D-A-V-I-S, D-A-I-V-S, art. I just Googled it, and it's like, which is not what he said.
There's a little bit of a factor that is work.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Where do you see the
I think we've made comments on all seven.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go back to the list and let me.
Okay.
Maybe we do that over here.
Yeah.
Right.
Margaret, I'm ready to move on.
These would be my choice to move us out.
Allison,
Okay, yeah.
yep. Yep.
Sounded like this one also.
We didn't get a lot of comments.
Yeah.
Dan was the most passionate about that.
I love her too, but again.
Allison, I think, was an out.
Yeah. Out? Out.
Yeah.
I only
That was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I think
tell Allison.
AJ was there.
I think we have three.
Oh, look, we have three.
And now we have four.
Oh, that was really easy. Good. Wait, does everyone feel comfortable with that though? I do. I do.
Yeah. I think we'll get a nice mix.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And all of it eventually very good.
There was a little skepticism.
Then she wanted to look at this.
Oh, yeah. Alex, you can go with that.
I could rip them off the wall again. Was there any?
Okay.
I think these three are good.
Definitely the best.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting, there's a woman in each one of these. Good for us. It's about time. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying there's a woman in each one of these, and I know Blessing is. But that was kind of a hard sell. Batman. It was. All right.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see that was working, I feel like.
I was just going to take a picture of them. Just
I gotta get one of these guys.
That wasn't necessarily like high on my list, but like I said, maybe because I was a little unsure. If you feel like money, I'm saying for you. Oh, yeah.
All right. So,
You need to more money for somebody to be well.
These are the family neighbors. And the final. I don't think it really matters.
it won't until we do their meet and greet and we go over their proposals. Then it'll, right now, in my mind, they're all equal.
Right.
Now that they're there, you know what I mean?
Would you like to have an official for the record?
Yes.
So the three finalists?
So all, who would like to have these three be our finalists, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Being no no's, it would be a unanimous decision for the three artists, Beth Rabbits, the Milagros Collective, and,
Carolyn.
that.
So I do have a question. What happens if we were to reach out to them and say, hey, you three were the finalists, and one of them says, oh, we already took on another project, I'm no longer available, or they remove themselves from the running?
That is a great
Yeah.
situation.
We had that happen last time with something early on.
So should we pick like a
Or
runner-up?
stand-in.
Yes, please.
Well,
Because otherwise we will live down my whole life. True, yeah.
I think it would be fair to consider everybody who, once again.
Okay. Then we won't.
Like, come back and discuss if that happens.
We could have.
They're like, no,
Or we could do,
And
you
then
could
black
email
flag.
us and we could vote. You could email us and we could vote.
We have,
No.
you can't for the meeting.
And then like, you can't do it like a, we can write them,
No, we have no meeting.
Is the open meeting?
Yeah, public meeting. Okay. Well, hopefully that won't happen.
On the next step, so there were a few comments that we made in terms of items we wanted them specifically to think about when they put together those proposals. I think the main comments in terms of the muralists were making sure, especially the Milagros group, that there was a certain amount of personalization to Merriam. Like, I think we need to tell all of them, please look at the master plan and take the master plan into consideration when you develop your proposal. Not doing so will not work out well for you. I tend to be a little bit feisty, so.
And then they each get $1,000, stipend, and they can choose to travel here,
For
do
their
a site
proposal.
visit, to create their work.
Correct. Yeah, or they can do it via, a Zoom or.
I'll probably make like a video
Video.
to share with all, because I think, they're hard at all. I was in New York, a lot of New Orleans,
That's in Florida.
so, yeah, they're all playing this way.
Yeah.
Did not really expect that.
You might just, include a statement about weather, seasonal
Because
weather.
some of them like from
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
climate, I mean,
New York.
is similar, but like, none of the Midwest and here.
Keep in mind, our temperatures range from 110 to -1.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And could happen in the same day.
Great point. Any other comments or thoughts we want to make sure are included in, letting them know before they create their proposals or awarding, you know what I'm trying to say.
Maybe like their intention of like using one and or both spaces, like what is their intention for that?
So, the proposals are usually pretty specific, so are we asking them that they would have, some sort of rendering of both stairs, rendering of both areas?
I would assume so, yeah.
Yeah.
But are you saying they could pick one and just use one?
No, they have to.
You're not, Jordan?
I don't know. I know that a lot of the like people wrote that just about one of the spaces, not mentioning the other, and so I would want them to be clear if they're not even considering both.
I think
That was
we reiterate that I want both. I mean, I don't know, do you guys want both, or I don't know, am I wrong in that?
In my mind, it, based on the price that we all came to in our original discussion, that price was based on our desire to see both spaces integrated in some way.
I think we reiterate that.
Yeah.
Yes, and yeah, I think
I think
making sure they know it.
maybe it was confusing, because a lot of people did write, like, I would use the interior staircase, where
Yeah.
I just said and or on the,
Yeah.
so it was open sky, it's just one.
So this
We
way.
made it very.
Well, then this is our opportunity to say, hey, we would prefer that you look at using both spaces in a contiguous,
That could be extremely.
some amount of
limiting.
I can't imagine that working with that.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
But-
That's a good point.
But realistically, like, there could be a small thing on that angle, the underside stairs that everyone thought would be a great space. I mean, that could tie it into the bigger mural outside. So I wouldn't limit them. I'd let them limit themselves.
That's a good point. No, that's a great point.
Well, I think under the stairs, and Lauren, that was your idea. That's brilliant. I mean, to do that kind of space. I mean, it's a real challenge.
Well, the idea that you're doing includes like, I guess like kind of pointing out to them like, this is an area you can use, this is an area you can take advantage, this is an area, like, kind of making sure that they know that like, nothing's kind of like, nothing's untouchable for them, so that's like.
Yeah. I mean, I might not like literally say it, but I will show.
Are you
the
gonna
whole
do a
thing.
walkthrough?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
And are they gonna get architectural renderings of the spaces?
I included the drawing in the packet for the RFP, so they should have that.
The like sheets from architectural side, we have like five. Within the sheet. I'm so organized.
And for us.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to confirm that we said that they all provided. First
remind what the deadline is that you're selecting?
I was going to give them until April 1st to put together their proposal and like email me something, and then me and have them present to us at April 10th.
Well, that's good. I think
That's enough time.
Yeah, but I wanted to see something before their presentation, so.
Oh, yeah.
If you all agree with that.
Yeah,
Red
yeah.
tide.
Okay, start over here. I unfortunately kicked you out very fast.
Art week for nobody.
Hmm?
It's an art week for nobody. She got kicked out of the site because she was inaccurate.
I'm doing other things over here.
It makes you really nauseous to have it though, you have it up there.
It's not my favorite to do it that way. Okay, she's a lot under.
She has a secretary reference office. And you get caught in Gina.
I was thinking, Gina, other references.
Yep, okay.
All the other ones. You know those are. I mean, there's the barbecue.
So their application
Is valid.
is valid.
Okay.
Great.
I couldn't get this to open up again, the agenda. I think it was last time, or did you have some follow-up on that?
I have a few other questions for you all, about the remaining part of the process. So we are going to give them $1,000 stipend. Do you want me to give that all to them up front, or just like a portion right now and then a portion upon,
Give it up front.
whole thing?
Show face.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will do.
Is everybody in agreement with that? Did you have a comment?
After this.
Okay. Did everybody agree that we would give them the full amount up front before proposal? Okay.
Did you want to invite any community input for the proposals they turn in by April 1st in any way? Would you want to set them up?
Put the
Okay,
proposals
just on the
online.
way at the community center or on the website or?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
sure.
That would be really
Why
awesome.
not?
After the meeting,
Huh?
after the meeting.
Okay. When we meet in March, if we meet in March, I think we will meet in March. Should we do anything like that?
I think it would be nice, because you know, we put out RFQ, sorry, I just jumped in, sorry. I think you could refine the RFQs and being able to ask questions, and so it would be nice if they wanted to.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think they
I
probably.
think it offers the opportunity for a better product, the more
Oh, yeah.
communication we have, the
Perfect.
We could also get their bio.
What is the date on our March meeting?
March 16th.
Sounds good.
They don't like the bio.
Yes.
Here's a question, when you're presenting them with the space, is there, because there's electric, like light, like RV on, in the space that has light, is that something that you're going to like mention, or?
I don't think that is on the inside of the stairwell.
Well, but it's on top, so like, if you're like looking at the space, like, at night, that's definitely a component, I think the light is definitely a component of the campus,
Okay.
or on the campus, I don't know.
I would,
Want to know.
I'll definitely point out that there's art, where the art is.
Oh, yeah.
Exterior.
Could you do like a video recording in the daytime and in the evening?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that'd be a good idea. Why not?
No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It's really dramatic.
Again, the more info we can give them, the better
ask them whether they were interested in bonding.
It was stated that they must meet all of our requirements in order, for like all of our centers that we do. But, so it wasn't like super specific about it, but I will include that in. Yeah. I'll make sure that that's.
Now, it's pretty easy to respond and say, yeah, I got that. Producing proof of it is another animal.
But they'll probably have the notice or something to do a mural or whatever. So kind of completely know.
They have to submit a certain amount of documentation to me because it's paying $1,000 sale, so, with the rest of it will go later for the final. So, okay. Anything else? Into this? Okay. City update, the next issue of highlights, the cover story of public art, our master plan, and featuring the new AutoCAD tour, and, kind of informing the residents on what we've been up to over the past year or so. So, there'll be, not exactly sure how many pages, but several pages all about public art in the next issue, so that's exciting. And, the Hearts Across Merriam, I have the next batch here, leave it in, and the plan is to have that Chapman cart. If anybody would like to volunteer to do that, I have a few others. It's the one that's just over on the other side of I-35. Near the bridge.
On the turn off to like get me downtown Merriam.
Oh, yeah.
It's worth for it.
What's worse?
I volunteer. Alright. Can we see one?
Yeah.
Do we volunteer to do them all, or you volunteer to do 3 or 4?
I can go there if everybody wants to do something. I'm happy to do them.
I can do
Yeah.
it. We can do it together. I don't mind changing the rest. I don't know, there was one. So we have to go and take it.
Really good cars, gummy ones, they that were like, it was like, they were like super gummy, like it was like,
Figure out how we
I
attach
feel like
it.
it was like doing like the balance.
I mean, everybody
supposed
knows that.
Oh.
So what is it?
No, she means like if you want to put on, hang out your Christmas tree or something. You probably should do something in that. I thought it was just a whole.
I think he said he was gonna put a hole in it.
We're asking, hey guys, for future reference, for since we're gonna be doing this every single month, we will ask whoever has them to kind of take note of where they're hidden and let us know.
Maybe take a picture.
And take a few pictures, and at least a few that are like kind of
A wide shot and a close shot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, context is everything, so show a wide area, and then your next shot is down to where it is, that helps someone who's never been there know exactly where it was supposed to be.
Yeah, and you can email or text those to me, it's fine. And bring Karen's little supply bag back, because she provided some ribbon and tape and scissors and other things that you might need if you get real creative with how you guys do it.
And how many are being hidden?
I think there's 6 in this batch.
Is there a hole in the actual art?
No.
To where, I mean, I
Just
think
little
that,
baggies.
that was what he was talking about, Jerry.
He changed it,
He changed his mind?
I think he changed
Instead of blowing them instead of forming them, right?
Yeah.
No.
instead of like the mold.
He could have.
Yeah, I thought there was gonna be a hole in them where, you know.
The slightly adapted, it didn't evolve, but he actually.
Are they all the same? The exact?
No, they're all completely different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They're
I mean, they're all red this
they're
month, but,
conceptually the same.
yeah, they're
So from
different.
month to month, are they different?
Different shades. We've asked them to do different colors every month, but as it just so happens the first 2 months.
They look like your animal.
I know,
They're not. Please believe it.
Right.
It's like Jello.
Yeah, that was what looked like big gummy bear, or gummy,
Yeah.
gummy bear.
Okay.
Bueller?
I'm so excited that we got them to agree, like.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really excited to see all of their proposals.
Oh, yeah.
Alright,
And I think they're gonna be
last
quite.
item, and there's nothing new from the floor.
Yes, Maggie?
Adjourn second.
Sorry.
Margaret, you had nothing, correct? Alright, we're
Yeah,
adjourned.
is Margaret happy with the choices, the three? Are you happy?
So, yeah.
Okay. Good. I will help you with that. I just gotta figure out where the parking is.
I'll see you later, buddy.
I'll go up by the 28th parking lot.
Okay.
Where is that? Carter? Yeah. And there's a lot of different things
You know where the party is, I couldn't follow either one. Well, there's no, it's outside.
No, it's called the
That's fine, that's not gonna work. You have a good night, my friend.
Like,